Good morning, my dear students. Now, today in this class, we are discussing detail clearly about rivers and geological work of rivers. Actually, this is a last topic of the first unit. So, our topic is what is the rivers and rivers what they do according to geologically. Here, geological action of rivers. The surface geological processes are mainly caused by geological agents such as running water, blowing wind, glaciers, sea waves. These are the examples of the geological action of rivers. Running water presents itself most effectively in the form of a river. River is the most powerful geological and geomorphic agent. The phenomena associated with the geological action of river is usually known as the fluvial cycle. The fluvial cycle comprises erosion, transportation, and deposition. Now, clearly we discuss about what is erosion, what is transportation, and what is depositions, why these are involved in the form of geological work of rivers. Here erosion. What is the erosion? Erosion caused by the running water of a river is of two types. The first one is the mechanical erosion and second one is the chemical erosion. Here mechanical erosion. The meaning of mechanical erosion is this is brought about by the physical forces associated with the running water and it takes place in four different ways such as like hydraulic action, abrasion and attrition and cavitation. What is hydraulic action? Forces inherent in the flow of running water of can do a great deal of erosion of the river banks and the bedrock. It is it is most due to surface relief. Surface relief means here we have to take as a gradient. Gradient means it's between the height, the differences between the two heights, water volume and velocity of water flow. Abrasion. The materials that are carried in running water act as tools of destruction. They scrape the surface of the bedrock surface during their transport. And attrition. During their transport, materials often collide among themselves and in turn get reduced in size by friction and impact. This is called the attrition. Cavitation. Now we jumping into cavitation. This is caused due to the presence of air bubbles which create a whirling action at the time of penetration of water through the existing pores and fissures, and the small sand particles along with the air bubbles play a major role in widening the cavities. But what are the factors that help mechanical erosion? Here, climate which determines precipitation, and finally volume and velocity of water, hydraulic gradient, nature of bedrock. Here nature of bedrock means whether it is igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic, hard or soft, and whether the layers or joints are parallel or perpendicular to the water flow. These are all the factors that help to mechanical erosion. Now we just the next subheading is the chemical erosion. This type of erosion is also known as corrosion or solution, during which process the materials get dissolved in the river water and transported in solution. Dissolution dissolution action of water due to the presence of carbon dioxide and solubility of the river beds are the factors that help chemical erosion. Next, transportation. There are two methods of transportation. same as well as mechanical transportation and chemical transportation. The sediments travel through the water is two types. That is the mechanical transportation and the chemical transportation. Now we come to the mechanical transportation. It takes place in three ways. Suspension, we have to call as a floating, under traction by creeping and rolling, and saltation through lifts and falls of material. Now, chemical transportation. It occurs through the process of solution, usually in the form of carbonate and sulfates of calcium, sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Now the final subtopic is deposition. It is the last geological action by the river whereby the material transported gets accumulated in an appropriate site when the following factors play their roles. Decrease in the gradient, I mean the gradient means slope, and decrease in the velocity of the transportation medium, decrease in volume, change in channels, and chemical precipitation. Here stages of river. The fluvial cycle or cycle of erosion begins on a recently uplifted land masses and is initiated through the drainage systems working on it. The working impact and the type of landforms produced by the fluvial cycle depends on the different stages of a river. The four stages of river, they are the initial stage, youth stage, mature stage, and old stage. Here, initial stage. The initial stages, during the initial stage, a river begins to form and develop. Some characteristics of this process are channel deepening by bed sourcing and path hole drilling by wireling current, and quick development of tributaries, maximum headward erosion, formation of waterfalls, gorges, and canyons. These are all formed in the initial stage. Next, the youth stage. In the youth stage, the river system is established to an extent. River capture or river piracy takes place. In this stage, there is the conspicuous formation of V-shaped valleys. So V-shaped valleys indicates the youth stage. During the initial stage and the youth stage, most of the features are formed by only erosion. Dams and reservoirs are taken up at the youth stage. The mature stage. In this stage, maximum erosion takes place through lateral cutting. The landmass is fully dissected. Ridges and valleys develop strikingly. As a result of heavy erosion and deposition, this stage gives rise to a large number of landforms such as plateaus, meanders, oxbow lakes, floodplains, terraces, alluvial fans. These are also act as a river deposit forms also. So these are all forms in the mature stage. Now the old stage. In this stage, soaking at the bottom of the river stops at the base level of erosion, which is the mean sea level produced inland. Frequently, the river is over flooded and build up floodplains on both sides. The initial irregular surface has become partially flat at this stage. The river is mostly engaged in deposition and does little of erosion and transpiration. The topography is characterized a set of distributional features which comprise deltas, distributaries, buried channels like. And here just I want to show some another PPTs. Definitely that pictures give you it enhancing your imagination. Guys, here the effects of natural agencies, geological work by river. During the life while flowing, following from head to mouth, the rivers are capable of exerting greatly modifying influence over the topography of the region through which they flow. The geological work by river may be broadly divided into three well-defined phases: erosion, transport, and deposition. Already we discussed in our class. Now it will give you some pictures. Now, geological work by river. Method of river erosion. So, rivers, how it eroded, how it was erosion. By erosion is mean disintegration and decomposition of the rocks and soil material by a natural agent through mechanical, chemical and other psychochemical process accompanied by removal of the disintegrated or decomposed product to far off places by the same agent. Stream and rivers are the most powerful subaerial agents of erosion. Others are wind and ice also. Features of stream erosion. Prolonged erosion by a river and the associated streams produces many interesting and important surface features along their channels directly and in the drainage basin in an indirect manner. Some of these features develop with the passage of time to major geomorphological landforms. Guys, here we can observe in this photo just this river course eroded, just a banking of the material. This is the one type of this is a this river. This is a one type of erosion by river. Here path holes. Just these path holes are, we can give these path holes as an example of the producers of river landforms. These are various shaped depressions of different dimensions that are developed in the riverbed by excessive localized erosion by the streams. The potholes are generally cylindrical or bowl shaped in outline. These are commonly formed in the softer rocks occurring at a critical location in the bedrock of a stream. The formation process for a pothole may be initiated by a simple plucking out of a protruding or outstanding rock projection at the riverbed by hydraulic action. So here these are called the path holes. This is the examples of the path holes. And river valleys. River valleys. A valley may be defined as a low and surrounded on sides by inclined hill slopes and mountain. Every major river is associated with a valley of its own. In fact, rivers are responsible for the origin, development, and modification of their valleys through well understood process of river erosion. Just we can identify this is like a V-shaped valley and this is a U-shaped valley. So V-shaped is we can identify in young stage valley. U-shaped almost it reaches to the mature stage. River valleys. Origin. A river valley may have a modest origin when traced backward in the geological history of the area on a gentle sloping surface. River water gets collected along lower level and flows as small streamlets. In a short time, small gullies are produced where rainwater gets naturally collected from adjoining slopes. Further erosion depends and widens an original gully that can accommodate bigger volumes of water. Next, valley deepening. It is achieved by cooperative action of all the process involved in erosion. Deepening is obviously caused due to cutting down of the riverbed. Lengthening of river valley. A peculiar type of process called head-down erosion is generally held responsible for lengthening of river valleys. River capture, piracy, a peculiar phenomena of capture of drainage basin of one river by another river, fast eroding its channel in headward directions has been seen at many places. Stream achieved valley widening. the stream cut down more their channels and also remove away the loose of soil and rocks from the banks, thereby widening the valley directly. Here valley deepening. This is a V-shaped valley. This is a modified by valley. So these figures are examples of the valley deepening. Here also initial stage. In this picture we can observe initial V shape, glacial U shape, and the greatest erosion and some geological configurations. The part of valley deepening. Here also river capture. Here river capture and river reversal. Here we observe AB. AB is the actually this figure is fast but present. So we can identify a small difference between the past and the present. Fast some gap is there present, that canal eroded the gap. Here also reversal also we can observe. Next, gorges and canyons. The process of valley deepening often gives rise to magnificent surface features known as gorges and canyons. Gorges are very deep and narrow valley with a very steep and high walls on either side. A canyon is a specific type of gorge where the layers cut down by river are essentially stratified and horizontal in attitude. The first figure is the gorge, and second figure is the canyon. Here also canyon. This is here running water cutting the layer by almost is going to the under. This is a good examples of the canyons. This is also erosion by the water. This is also examples of the canyons. Waterfalls also product of the running water. This is also a river deposited body. These are defined as magnificent jumps made by stream or river water at certain specific parts of their course, where there is a sudden and considerable drop in the gradient of the channel. Many falls are easily attributed to unequal erosion of the channel rocks within a short distance due to the inherent nature of the rocks. This is the examples of the waterfalls. Stream terraces. These are bench-like ledges or flat surfaces that occur on the sides of many river valley. From a distance, they may appear as successions of several steps of a big natural staircase rising up the riverbed. So this is the example of the stream terraces. Sediment transport by river. Every river receives enormous amount of material during its flow from head to mouth. This material includes the rock and soil particles that the river acquires by its own work of erosion along the channel. Heterogeneous type of materials comprising of branches and trunks of trees washed down by rills and material contributed from process of mass wasting such as rockfalls, soil creep, rain wash and landslides from another distinct category of material that are the transported by river. Here this figure shows also the above things. The turbidity current tail, deposition of the fine grained sediments, deposition of coarse graining materials, and erosion of the bottom. Here, tributary graded beds, surfaces eroded by passage of the head of current, fine grained deposits, coarse grained deposits. Sediment transport by rivers. The load as all the material being transported in running water of a stream or river may thus be distinguished into following categories: suspended load And bed load, suspended load. It is made up of fine sand, silt and clay sediments that are the light enough to be transported in the stream water in a state of suspension. Bed load. This fraction of the river loads comprises the heavier particles of sand, pebbles, gravels and cobbles and other type of materials which are moved along the other side of the roads. The dissolved load, these fraction include particles of material soluble in water, which the river may gain due to its solvent action on the rock of the channel. Numerous rivers from the land path carry calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate, and sodium chloride and other soluble salts from limestone, gypsum, anhydrite, and rock salts. Rock salts. Here, this figure gives a clear picture how sediment transported by the rivers. Deposition by rivers. This is also the entire load of stream or a river will normally remain in transport unless there is a change in one or other factor responsible for its transport. The process of dropping down of its loads by any moving natural agent is technically called deposition. Wind rivers, glaciers, and marine waters are important natural agents that make typical deposits. Types of deposits. Alluvial fans and cones. These are cone-shaped accumulation of stream deposits that are commonly found at places where small intermittent streamlets coming down from hill slopes enter the lowlands. And natural levees. These are essentially riverbank deposits made by a river along its bank during floods. The natural levees are sometimes helpful in preventing further flooding in a river provided the volume of water a new prospective flood is not much higher than that of previous floods. These are the examples of the alluvial fans and cones. Here, here, this is the alluvial fans, this is the cone. This is the cone and this is the alluvial fans. Next, natural levees. Before flood, here if we observe the figure, A indicates the before flood stage water level, and B during flood, thickest and coarse sediments deposited at channel edges. Here thin and fine sediments deposited over outer parts of the floodplain. After many floods, what we observed, natural levees built up by the many floods. So natural levees sometimes act as a barriers of the floods. Now types of deposits. Deltas. Deltas are defined as alluvial deposits of roughly triangular shape that are deposited by major river at their mouth. That is where they enter a sea. Channel deposits. Many streams are forced by some natural causes to deposit some of their loads along the riverbed. These are so-called channel deposits. They are of great economical use, being the source of sands and gravel, quite suitable for use as construction materials. This is the example. This images reveals the formation of the delta. So how rivers are formed delta. This is the delta, and here it indicates two deltas. Now channel deposits. Here in these pictures we observed here channel deposits. And river meandering. It is the one of the good depositions of the rivers. When a stream flows along a curved zigzag path acquiring a loop-shaped course, it is said to meander. Meanders are developed mostly in the middle and the lower reaches of major stream, where lateral erosion and depositions along opposite banks become almost concurrent geological activities of the stream. When a stream is flowing through such a channel, it cannot be assumed to have absolutely uniform velocities all across its width. Thus, the same river is eroding its channel on the concave side and making its progress further inland, whereas on the convex side, it is depositioning. A loop-shaped outline for the channel is a natural outcome where a stream seen from a distance. Here, river meandering. Here, like where is the loop or where is the bend is there, we have to call is the meandering. In the oxbow lakes, where meandering is very heavy and cuts that water body apported from the mainstream of the mainstream of the river. Then we have to call the type of bodies as oxbow lakes. In the advanced stages of meandering stream, only relatively narrow strips of land separate the individual loops from each other. During high water times, as during small floods, when the stream acquires good volume of water, it has a tendency to flow straight. Some of the intervening strips of land between the loops get eroded. The stream starts flowing straight in those limited stretches, thereby leaving the loops on the sides either completely detached are only slightly connected. This isolated, curved or looped shaped area of the river, which often contains some water, are called oxbow lakes. So this is the one of the oxbow lake examples of the oxbow lakes. Yeah, these two footers also belongs to the oxbow lakes. So guys, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience today. So first unit has completed. Again, I want to remind you what we discussed in first unit. So branches of geology, importance of geology with the case studies, and what is the weathering of rocks and geological agents. And today we discussed finally rivers and geological work of rivers. So this is the first unit. So successfully we completed first unit. So in next class, I will introduce you. I will introduce to second unit. Thank you.